Hello everyone and welcome back for another episode of Indie Impressions. My name is Nick and today we're checking out FTL, and I know what you're thinking. Why did you wait until February 2013, nearly like 5.5, 6 months after this game came out to actually cover it on the show? Well, I was hesitant to play it, I'll be honest with you. I was a little bit put off at first by it. The sheer amount of videos and just content to do with this game, I guess I had a little bit of a reaction to it. It just seemed like it was just everywhere. I just sort of needed to give it a little distance, give it some time to settle down. And I also didn't get a review copy of it when it initially came out, so I was hesitant to pick it up. I wanted to wait till it was on sale. But I also just thought maybe it wasn't necessarily the kind of game that I'd be into. It seemed like it was a little bit heady, maybe a little bit hard to follow. But I couldn't have been more wrong, honestly. I took way too long to actually get around to trying this, and in the first few minutes of me playing it, I already understood what I was doing and had a great time playing it. I think when I watched a video of someone else playing it, I might have come in at the wrong time and seen like too much progression and too much going on, and I think it gave me the wrong impression of what this game was actually about. It's an event-driven space exploration slash, almost want to say RPG sim, but the way they approach it is actually really accessible, and I mean, if you haven't played it by now, I'd be a little surprised, so I'm not even sure like to what extent this video is going to really speak to anyone new to the game, if there is anyone that hasn't played this by now. But in case you're like me and you held off playing this because maybe you're a little apprehensive about complicated games, or what you might perceive to be complicated games, I have to tell you, this is not all that complicated. And in fact, it's quite relatable, and it's actually very addictive. So let's just do a quick game. I actually played this quite a bit last night. I got a good feel for what to do in it. The tutorial was actually really helpful and quite to the point. And the whole thing actually is just a lot of fun. Also, the music is outstanding, by the way. That's another thing, like, I really didn't give it enough credit for how good the music is. I am going to go back to easy. I was playing it on normal last night, and I think that's probably not the best idea. So this looks like there's a lot going on in this screen. There's really not that much, though. We've got a couple of crew members to customize if we choose to. I don't really have any reason to at this point. And right now, being at the very beginning of the game, I mean, I played about, I don't know, 6 or so games of it in a row. And I didn't unlock anything yet, but everything is still, you know, ready to open up for later. And then we've got a few weapons. So essentially, we can start the game completely fresh, having not touched a single thing in this entire menu. And that is what we're going to do. So the data you carry is vital to the remaining Federation fleet. You'll need supplies for the journey, so make sure you explore each sector before moving on to the next. But get to the exit before a pursuing rebel fleet can catch up. Tip, health. Pay attention to your crew's health. Use med bay to keep them patched up. So after playing this just like 2 or 3 times, I pretty much already had the hang of doing pretty much everything I need to do, at least at the beginning of the game. The like moment-to-moment management of what's going on when everything is fairly static is actually very minimal. There's really nothing I really have to do right now. So the entire game plays out in a sort of a way that Oregon Trail played out, where each time you reach a certain point, something will happen, and then you have options of how you want to deal with it. So there's just this spiraling trail of different events that can lead you down a path that will lead to either your success or, more likely, your untimely demise. So we're going to head on over to this unvisited location here and see what happens when we jump in. You'll notice I lost 1 fuel for that jump. That started at 16, now we're at 15. We also have 8 missiles, and these are droid parts, I believe. I haven't actually done anything with them yet. And then we've got our power down here in the bottom left corner, and that's being routed to all the different functions of our ship. The shield, the engine, the oxygen, the health, medbay, and then our weapon systems, which then gets, these 3 nuggets get divided amongst these 2 nuggets if we need to use both the missiles and the burst laser, which we usually will. And then we've got subsystems like our security and our doors and such over there. So scanners are showing intelligent life forms on a nearby planet. No match for them can be found in the database. Being the curious mind that I am, I usually choose to investigate these things. Most of the time I end up getting myself into trouble, but I want to see what happens. Occasionally there's cool things, I guess, that these events can lead to, although most of the time it just gets one of my guys killed or something. You land a small shuttle in an enormous field whose only occupants are small, brightly colored, 6-legged horse-like animals. Could they be what your scans picked up? I actually ran into this event last night when I was playing, and I'd said, try to communicate peacefully, and that didn't actually lead to anything, so I want to try this again just to see if the events change, like based on some chance behind the scenes. or if these are just the same things that happen each time, like you just sort of learn don't do this when this happens. None of your attempts to communicate seem to work. They just stare at you silently as you prepare to leave. One of the creatures canters forward and forcefully nudges you away from the ship. He seems to want you to follow him. Eventually, the creatures guide you to old Engi ship's crash site. Inside, you're able to find and reactivate an Engi. Wow, well, that's really cool. I haven't had that happen before. Last time, the thing was just like, hey, we're horse things, we don't do anything, and then we just left. I didn't get anything out of that, and that whole jump, or this section of the star system, did not provide me any use. So now it looks like we've got Zimu, an extra alien inhabitant on our crew here. Not sure exactly how useful he'll be, but, you know, having more crew is generally always a good idea, because later on when we start getting into combat, we're going to need to send our guys all over the ship to start fixing things, and there's actually quite a bit of strategy to combat, too. I was expecting it to be more frantic and hectic, and although it is those things, at the same time, the fact that you can pause the game at any moment actually really helps, and if you use that strategically, you'll pretty much use, well, most of the time, you'll come out okay, but there are situations that just really spiral out of control. Should mention also up here, our scrap total is 43, that's decent, that's our currency. I don't know if I really need to explain all this stuff, because you guys probably have all played this by now, but just in case you haven't, and if you're new to the game like I am, it's useful to know this stuff. And then we can manage all of our doors and bays and stuff on an individual level. We can select our crew, send them to different parts of the ship. Stuff will happen, like things will light on fire in here. Sometimes we'll get our cameras or whatever knocked out and we can't like see what's going on in the ship. You can actually open these vents over here, or doors out to the airlocks, and that'll actually let pull out all the air, and then you can use that to knock out fires, and then if you shut the airlock, then the air will eventually go back in. And stuff will happen, like if your oxygen containment gets messed up, then eventually all the inhabitants of the ship will suffocate. It's quite a micro-level, very interesting way to represent what's going on in this situation. I think it's actually very well done. And I have to say, for $10, if you haven't played this by now, it's actually a very good value, and I think there's hundreds of hours of stuff to see in here. So, what they mentioned before, the Federation is chasing you, and as you take time to go from one jump to the next, eventually, like, a sphere will appear on this beacon map, and eventually that means you need to kind of keep moving things forward. Otherwise, I guess they catch up to you. I'm not sure what exactly will happen when they catch up to you, but I assume lots of fighting, and it's probably not good. So we've arrived, and we arrived near a damaged and dilapidated space station. It appears to be abandoned, but you detect faint life signatures on board. So this is basically the formula here. Every time we make a jump, we're either going to run into some sort of an event where we can explore something, or maybe something contacted us, or maybe we have to fight something. And usually there's some sort of an exchange of resources, whether it's good or bad. And a lot of the time it'll leave you almost dead, or some form of very bad, dire situation after you leave. So far we've been lucky though. So we can either board the station, look for survivors, scrap some of the debris. I don't know, whichever one is better, either one, it's kind of a toss-up. And I've also heard that if you have certain situations going on with your ship, because you can modify your ship and get yourself extra little modules and junk, sometimes a number 3 solution, which will appear in blue, which is almost always a better option. Thus far, I haven't really had any upgrades or customization going on my ship. I'm still very basic, learning what I'm doing here. So let's board the station, see what we can find. Human corpses are scattered across the station. Uh-oh, necromorphs, maybe? You find the source of the signal, a lone survivor. A lone survivor? Well, that's another indie game. Lock themselves in a storage closet. You quickly retreat with them in tow back to the ship, and hope they can recover enough to be of some use. So that was actually a really interesting gamble we just had there. So we actually got some scrap and another crew member. So this is the most crew I've ever had so far. Usually 4 is the highest I've gotten, and now we're up to 5. So in the case that maybe our ship gets boarded by some awful aliens, maybe we should be able to fight them off a little better, or divide these guys up amongst the ship areas in a way that might be meaningful to help repair stations or areas before they get too damaged. Because you can also get breaches in your hull. You can get all kinds of nasty stuff going on. You just want to avoid that, repaired as quickly as possible. The worst is when you're fighting, having no oxygen, and everything's on fire at the same time. Because it's just like, it's killing you pretty quickly. Although you'd think the lack of oxygen would probably put out the fires too, but... And that is what it does most of the time, just sometimes it doesn't, I don't know. I guess if you don't formally request that the oxygen is removed and it's just like low oxygen, whatever, we'll just see. I'm sure something will happen. A missile shoots across your bow when the jump completes. Your scans quickly reveal a ship with pirate markings pursuing an unknown vessel. The pirate hails you. Damn it, we weren't expecting company. Stay out of this and you could profit. So now I have a moral choice to make. Do I want to accept a bribe and compromise my integrity, or try to be a hero and attack the pirate? Under most circumstances, I would actually attack the pirate, but I'm certain we'll get into some combat later, so I want to see if I can stack the odds in my favor, and I will indeed compromise my integrity and accept their bribe. Unfortunate for the other person whose vessel is being attacked, but at this moment, we're just going to see what happens. Yeah, we both come out rid of this richer, and I probably could have beaten them anyway. I mean, no guarantee, but I'd just rather spare myself the hull damage, because I actually don't know how to repair your hull once it gets really bad. And there's got to be a way, right? I mean, that seems like it would be too easy to just end your game. But every time I made it to the second sector, because when you reach exit over here, you jump to the next sector, and then there's usually a tougher thing going on. Like, sometimes you get into asteroid fields or, like, toxic clouds that eat away at your ship. And I usually run into that with very little hull remaining, which always seems to lead to my death. I've only ever made it, like, 2 jumps in at the second sector. But I'm also still just starting out learning what I'm doing. I haven't gotten better weapons, I haven't gotten better anything yet. In fact, before we go on, I just want to show you. So this is like your upgrade area, and when you have lots and lots of scrap, you can start spending the scrap on these different units, like your power reactor, which will give you more power to divide up amongst your other functions. I think a decent idea is to start out just putting a point or 2 in your shield, and then of course you'll probably want a little bit more on your power bars as well, sort of even that out. So you do actually, I forgot you needed an upgrade, because right now I can only power this up to 2, and it says system upgrade there. So right now if I powered up both of my weapon systems, I'm not going to use them, but just to show you, now I have 1 nugget of power remaining from the one I just purchased, which I would have put into my shield, only I forgot I needed an upgrade, so that was actually kind of a waste. But I'm sure there's something else I can put that nugget into later. So I'll depower that, and we'll make another jump. And as far as I can tell, this doesn't take place in real time. It's only by your jumps that the fleet will come chasing after you. So what do we have now? A rebel ship has been patrolling the region. As soon as you arrive, it begins its assault. Alright, so we've got a hostile rebel fighter here. And this is the layout. So the interesting thing about combat is that you want to actually sometimes target certain parts of the ship to try and make your chances best to get as many hits in as possible. Their hull does not have nearly as many nuggets as mine does, so I mean, just by virtue of that, I'm likely to win, but you never know, there might be a wild card involved in this fight. So first thing I do, combat starts, I pause my game. That's usually the best idea possible. You set these guys with power up, and then as soon as you unpause, you can actually see that the weapon systems just get moved out, and then these will start to power up. So I'll pause again. What I can do when I click on this, I'm then going to be able to target, and I can direct this at either their shields, their engine, their med bay, their missiles, their oxygen, or their cockpit. I usually like to target their shields. I don't know if, like, even if my strategies are the best. I'm sure you guys out there watching are probably way better at this than I am. But going after the shield seems like a decent idea. I also like to go after their oxygen because it means that their crew is going to be distracted trying to repair that. Because you'll see when they start attacking me, they're going to be doing the same stuff I'm doing, trying to run around their ship and get everything back to normal so they don't die. So now it's a waiting game. My stuff's going to fill up. They're going to start shooting at me. That was a miss, luckily. Send off my first missile, hits their shield, and we get 3 solid hits on their oxygen. So now you just saw the doors open and close. I paused again. That's their crew running over to start repairing everything, which means that they're going to be somewhat distracted. And if you get enough stuff going, it'll actually mean that their weapon systems might be unmanned, in which case you may end up actually getting an advantage on them in that. So I know I said this game seems like it's very simple, and the base model of what's going on in it is very simple, but there's a lot of nuance and a lot of subtlety, and I think a lot of really careful tactics that you can learn over time. But the way that it's approached is not complicated. It's actually fairly accessible. It just might seem a little complicated on the surface. You just have to, it's fairly intuitive. Once you play this for a few minutes, you're going to start to get a feel for it. I mean, everything about it really, it's fairly readable. Like, I don't feel like many of these icons are complicated, like that shield S little arc thing on it, that looks like an engine, a turbine or something. O2 means oxygen, health is universally symbolized by a plus or a cross, and then weapons look like missiles. I always forget what this one is. That's the piloting, yeah. Which I guess looks like a flight stick, so that makes sense. I always looked at it sort of like a sideways Euro, which doesn't make any sense. And then the cameras for sensors, and then the doors, and then there's tooltips too, so it's not like this is very complicated at all. With the tutorial, a little bit of practice, I think this is something that fairly anyone who has any interest in playing this could get into pretty quickly. And I think it'll suck you in pretty quickly as well, because it's got that customization element, sort of like XCOM, where you start to attach, identities to your crew members. Although I don't feel quite as bad when they die, thankfully, and they die constantly, so I would feel very sad if they were always dying. Anyway, we're in the middle of combat. I should probably stop talking now. So my weapons are charging again. I do have to target something each time, otherwise they're just going to keep sitting there. Alright, so now we're actually in a situation where we can make a bargaining deal. Take everything we have and let's both forget this happened, because one more hit, he's toast. So now we're going to see what he has to offer us, which is 4 fuel, 2 drone parts, and 10 scrap. Circumstances say that's probably a decent idea, considering, well, you're probably not going to get much better by destroying them anyway. Other than the stat of killing someone, and I don't really feel great about that. That's not really that great. They are going to stop chasing us or stop attacking us, so it's kind of like the same either way. You might as well just take the merciful approach, right? So let's take their offer, get a bunch of stuff out of it, some fuel, some missiles, scrap, all that good stuff, and they're going to just sit there and hopefully repair. I'm not sure, maybe they can try and double-cross you. Maybe if you accept that sometimes, they'll like try and get out of your range and then attack you again. I haven't had it happen yet. So what I would do after I finish combat is I would check out my system, make sure everything is still in the green, depower my weapons. Looks like everything is still quite happy. Hull is still completely full, which is one of the first times I've ever had that happen where I didn't take any damage in combat. And all of these are still looking green and lovely, and there's nothing crew-wise. They're all happy, their health is all full, you can see it right here. If somebody's health was taken down, I would send them over to the med bay. They get very quickly healed to full again from there. So that is about all we need to do there. So there's a distress beacon going on over here, and then there's a store. And I might visit that store, actually, on the next jump after the distress beacon, because I think I'm going to go over there and see what's going on. So it's very interesting. It's all this random procedural generation of events leads to a very different story every time you play the game, and it's very addictive to see how many different ways you can take your crew. Follow the distress beacon to a small asteroid belt. You find a small ship struggling to maneuver through the field. They message you, help, our shields are down, I don't know how much longer we can last. Try to shield their ship with yours and escort them out of the field. Don't risk our ship. That's a tough one. I don't really want to risk my ship, but at the same time I don't want to be a jerk either. Let's do it. Despite your best efforts, the civilian ship breaks apart. Oh, so they die anyway. Barely able to break out of the asteroid field yourself. Ship sustained some damage in the process. So them's the breaks. We got 15 scrap out of it and took a little bit of damage. Well, that kind of stinks. Might have rather not done that, but still, you can't predict what's going to happen until it happens. So, I mean, the one thing, if I was to criticize anything, I wish there wasn't so much staring at just these text boxes. I wish there was maybe a little bit more in the way of illustration. But I imagine that since this is still, I believe this is the first game by this developer, maybe in the future if there's an FTL 2, maybe something like that could take place. But I do hope if that does take place that they actually don't abandon the majority of the way that this game is structured, because I think it's very strong, actually. You know, the UI elements, the graphical elements, it's all very well done. And it really surprised me to the depth of the quality here, because on the surface, you see a lot of screenshots of this game, you're usually just looking at pictures of spaceships, and it doesn't look like there's much there, but the drama and the excitement takes place in the narrative that you construct yourself as you're reading through all these little text boxes. I mean, I could imagine if this was a big budget game, maybe all of these would be voiced or something. I'm not sure how much better that would make it, but it might make it even more accessible for people who don't care to do the reading, and I guess if you don't care to do the reading, maybe you don't really deserve to play this. I don't know. It's not a big deal to read text boxes. I don't know why I'm complaining about it. I just think that maybe it would be kind of cool to see more illustration. I want to be even more immersed in what's here already, even though I'm not having any trouble being immersed in it, if that makes any sense, and I hope it does. Alright, so we just found ourselves surrounded by a group of mysterious alien vessels. They apparently have some valuable technology for sale. That might be interesting. I do like valuable alien technology as a general rule. So things we can buy here are fuel, 3 scrap per 4 fuel. That seems like a really good deal. Generally, when I run into this, it's like 15 scrap for 3 fuel, so I would probably need to buy some of that just to stock up. And you might be able to barter with it later too, which is great. Missiles, I'm definitely going to get a couple of those. You tend to run through them fairly quickly when you get a lot of combat in a row. Oh, we've got repair and fix all. Okay, I didn't know we could actually do this here, so I may... Oh, what's this? And hull repair. Automatically repairs 3 to 5 damage to your hull. Drone part is consumed once it Okay, so somehow I gotta learn how to deal with all the drones. That's the element I haven't gotten to yet. And once I set up all my drones, I imagine maybe they're how I repair my hull when I'm on the go. And an anti-personnel droid will seek out and attempt to destroy any intruders on board your ship. That is really useful to have, as well as the defense drone. Man, all of these are actually really useful. Every single one of these. I'm gonna go with fix all. I might have only needed to use that. I don't know. It's too late now. I'm gonna grab one of these because 3 scrap is like nothing. And I'm gonna grab one of these. Wait, it said +5. Didn't I just get 1 there? Oh, that's how many they have. Okay, we're buying 1 fuel. I misunderstood. My bad. Okay, and then we've got drone parts, which I still don't know exactly what to do with. I feel bad passing up on anything, though. I wish I could... Oh, I can sell stuff, but I don't have anything to sell. Crap. Well, I need my weapon systems too much. It's not like I can really get rid of those. And everything else is largely out of being reasonable prices for what I have. I can't really afford anything other than more of the same stuff. So, clothes, I guess. I'm hesitant to want to leave. Maybe I can still capitalize on one more jump before we move on to the second sector, where I will inevitably be completely obliterated. Wow, that's an interesting ship. It's like a Boba Fett-style ship. I've only ever played with the first kind of ship that you get, the Kestrel. I know there's a lot of other ones to unlock with different quirks to them, so that might be very interesting to see where that goes. I do want to play this quite a bit. I'm probably going to end up getting a little obsessed with it. I don't know. It could happen. An especially well-armed pirate ship approaches you. Hand over one of your crew members, and the rest of you can go free unharmed. I hate doing this kind of a trade-off. I really don't want to abandon my crew members. I kind of feel like I'd rather have them all potentially die than just lose one of them to becoming a slave. That's just like an awful thing to have to do. And I wouldn't ever subject them to having to draw straws for their lives. That's just sad. But I'm also putting way too much mental thought into this whole thing. Okay, let's fight. Let's see if this is going to be a nasty scenario. Just want to check out what their position is. They're a bomber, an energy bomber. That sounds pretty bad. They don't have a particularly large amount of hull, though. So let's see what happens. All right, they're looking like they have similar stuff to what I have, maybe? I could be wrong. Right, this is a missile, and this is some kind of a beam weapon. So what do? Let's target their oxygen with the laser. Let's target their shields with the missile. I probably should have bought a couple of more missiles than that. And we're going to be on the watch, because we're going to get hit with a missile, I'm sure, pretty quickly. Oh, they're both lasers? Oh, no, that is a missile. And they targeted my door controls, which is not a huge deal. I mean, that's probably one of the better things I'd have them hit if they had to hit something. And we're going to send our troops, our crew members here over to take care of that fire. Oh, wow. So actually, they're just going to give us a slave in one hit. That's surprising. I thought they were more powerful than that. So we're actually going to end up coming out plus another crew member, which is kind of great. So let's take it. You know, especially if they're going to phrase it like that, they're going to die anyway. Why not help someone out? We've got a little green alien guy named Ken. Sounds pretty neat. Alright, so these guys, you'll notice as soon as they were finished putting out the fires, they immediately start doing some repairing. And this guy's taken a little damage, and so has... Oh, is he? No, both of these two guys, they're standing in fire. So we're going to send them to the med bay. You'll see they very quickly get their health regened. And again, I want to apologize if this is extremely boring of you watching me explain this. I'm really sort of orienting this video more to people who for some reason avoided playing FTL till just now. I wonder if I'm able to actually still attack them if I wanted to. No, it looks like since their rooms have closed up, probably not. That would be a jerk move anyway. But you never know, they might do it to me. So we've got the biggest crew I've ever had. I'm pretty excited about this. Things are looking up. The Federation is still a number of jumps away. I guess I'll do one more jump over here and see what happens. My fuel is still at 13. Ship is hailed. We found you at last. Prepare to die. Okay, I guess we're gonna fight. What do we have this time? So we've got a hull which is surprisingly a lot more capable than the last ship we fought. We'll set up our 2 weapon systems as always. We're gonna target same pretty much as always. Shields and oxygen. Might be worth targeting their weapon systems. Okay, we've got a hull breach now. Thankfully, shouldn't be a huge deal to repair. We're going to send... Actually, we're going to send 3 of these guys here because we don't want to lose oxygen, so the faster they can repair this, the better. It shouldn't take very long with 3 of them working yet, didn't. And we just took 2 more hits. Okay, I need to also target the ship on the other end again. Send another missile their way. They should be scrambling, trying to repair everything on their end, and I'm going to get him over there. Okay, they're just about done, and it looks like we're about to take a hit on our engine, which is a pretty bad hit, actually. Engine's critical. We're going to send our 3 guys back over to the engine room. Hopefully get that hull breach repaired very quickly, and then go right in towards the engine. You can see how fast it's repairing on these 2 bars down here. My 2 weapon systems are actually primed and ready to go, and for some reason I was not using them. So that would be a bad idea. Yeah, and I actually kind of wasted a missile there, so I didn't really need to do that. Ship explodes, leaving behind a substantial collection of useful scrap material. We've got 2 fuel, 1 drone parts, and 25 scrap. That's actually a nice haul. So I actually might be able to head back to that vendor and get something now. So let's depower or unpower, or however you describe it, our weapon systems, and we've got some fires to put out. What we can do in this case, we don't actually have to risk putting our guys in harm's way, which is what I would normally do. Let's just open the airlocks and let the oxygen, or lack of oxygen, take place of our fire extinguishers. This guy's gonna, jump on his computer there, maybe type on Facebook or something. If they have Facebook in the future, I hope they do. So this is taking a while, but yeah, there we go. So the fire just went out. There is usually a little icon on the affected room when it's on fire, so that way even if your sensors or your security that lets you normally see all your rooms goes out, you can still see if there's a fire or not. So that looks like as much as we can do to repair for the moment. The hull is still pretty damaged, but I've had worse, honestly. But everybody is okay, everybody's health is still full, and we made it out of that last encounter fairly well off, I should say. So let's head to the store again. I think this might be one of my last jumps before I got to take off. What can I buy with this 62 scrap? I'm kind of curious to buy one of these defense drones. Or I can buy the anti-personnel drone. They both sound pretty good, and I do need 2 extra power requirements for that, so I might need 1 more nugget than I have at the moment. I'm going to buy the defense drone, just because I haven't done it yet. And I don't believe I'm going to have enough to actually pick up another... Yeah, I don't have enough for another power bar. But if I depowered, like, my med bay, then I would be able to do it, which you can do that. You can actually depower any of these, although, taking away power from your oxygen is kind of a bad idea, I would say. We can go to our ship, and I believe this is where we would... Well, I actually don't know what to do with this. I have it. It's cargo. Can't really put it there. Can't really put it there. I don't know. Using a drone consumes 1 part. I don't know how to use a drone. So I guess I need to read up a little bit more. If my episode of FTL for Indie Impressions ends up taking a negative hit because I don't know what I'm doing with the drones, then I apologize. But still learning. Still quite a bit at the beginning of this whole journey. You've arrived at the long-range beacon when the FTL drive. FTL is faster than light. They make reference to this quite a bit. This is your warp drive. It's the defining element of what makes these space travel moments possible. When the FTL drive is charged, you can jump to the next sector. Oh, look at this. You see a small station fitted with hundreds of repair drones. You receive an automated message. We don't know who you are and we don't care, but this is the right place for some ship repair. That sounds pretty good to me. I'm gonna take what I can there. Repairing your hull is a really good thing, and up until this episode, or until just now, I actually, or, you know, before when I repaired it a little bit, I had no idea how you even do that. I hadn't actually run into an event that allowed me to repair my hull in any shape or form. Alright, so we've finished out this area. Let's head to the next sector. So now we've got, oh, it's a rough choice here. We can use this, this sort of Star Fox-esque map of the universe ahead of us, and we can either pick between a hostile controlled sector or another hostile controlled sector. Honestly, it doesn't make a huge difference at this point. I'm not sure if there's really any reason to pick one over the other. They're both red. They're probably both going to get me killed fairly quickly, so let's go for the bottom one, because why not? You've entered a poorly charted area of space known to be home to the Mantis. I don't know what the Mantis are. That sounds pretty bad, though. Ensure your hull plating is up to scratch and that you have enough fuel in your tank to make it through. I have 12 fuel. I don't know if that's enough to make it through. Probably is. I can't actually jump to anywhere but this one, so I'm guessing terror will await me at that location. Oh, boy. Some sort of a sun, apparently. Who knows why the Mantis would venture so close to the sun, or to a sun? Perhaps it makes for more of a challenge? Man, you guys are jerks. So I guess I gotta fight this guy now. I don't really have any choice. Equip my 2 weapon systems. Just check out what's going on his ship there. It looks like typical stuff. Eventually I'm gonna run out of missiles, and then I'm gonna be a very sad panda, as they say. I may want to just not use as many missiles if I can get away with it, but, you know, for now, since I'm just trying to do as well as I can, I think I am going to continue to use them. I wonder if there's any advantage conferred to, like, shooting directly for certain parts of their ship, like the engine, or, like, if that'll cause them to panic more, or, you know. I just sort of figured the oxygen thing is a good idea, because they kind of don't have a choice but to immediately repair that. Having been in that position myself, you definitely go after fixing your oxygen immediately. And we've got an engine fire, that's great news. And let's shoot at their missile supply. And why not? We'll hit every part of their ship there. Well, again, I didn't really need to do that, because I was going to take them out one way or the other. So I essentially just wasted a missile there again. Ship explodes, leaving behind a substantial collection of useful scrap material. We got 2 missiles, 1 drone part, and 23 scraps. That's decent. So now we've got to do quite a bit of repairing, despite the fact that we've also got a solar flare, which is now imminent. I'm not sure what that's going to do to us, but it doesn't sound good. So we're going to get everybody we can on repairing the engine. Now that it looks like that room is okay. We'll get 4 people. That should be good to go in like a matter of seconds, hopefully. Okay, so it's just going to randomly cause fires to break out on my ship, which is not pleasant at all. We're going to try and contain that and jump out as soon as we can. I don't think I'm really equipped for this kind of trouble. See, our FTL drive is charging still, so I actually can't leave yet. Okay, now it's ready to go. I'm just going to put out this fire. Oh, and now we've got another one, and I'm taking hull damage at the same time. Let's get out of here. This is just going to result in trouble. So let's go to this unvisited location and see what's new. Nothing here but space debris and some uninhabitable planetoids. Good. That's what I'd like to hear, actually. Some of my guys are actually quite a bit in danger. Let's get everybody healed up as much as possible. Oh, we've still got some fires breaking out, unfortunately. Not sure why they're still breaking out now. I thought I had everything fairly under control. I'm sure there's still some nuances that I haven't picked up on yet about why certain things happen the way they do. I have a feeling there's generally always a rhyme to the reason, or reason to the rhyme of what's going on in this game in general. Alright, everybody's healed up on that end, and get these 3 back in there, get them all healed up. I think my ship is about as good as it's going to get for the moment. Unfortunately, taken quite a bit of damage there. I'm in yellow now, I'm not happy about that, but what can you do? And let's throw a couple of these guys back in the cockpit. I don't know, you can hang out over here somewhere. And let's do another jump. It's honestly only a matter of time. I don't have any illusions that I plan on beating the game anytime soon. Which you can actually do, there is an end. You spot a small rebel ship nearby. It seems to have been refitted for transport rather than combat. Does not seem to want you to engage, or want to engage you and your ship. So this is where I could be a space pirate myself and demand the surrender of their goods, or I could just avoid them. The better reason in my mind says I should probably take their goods, but I can't wrap my head around being a jerk to people in space when that's what I'd rather they didn't do to me. Let's just skip that encounter. Plus, I'm making some decent progress through this sector, I guess. Alright, looks like another Mantis fight. Just finished salvage op on a nearby wreck. Seemed to have no time to waste with warnings and appeared to wish to fight. So another huge jerk. What a surprise. There's an awful lot of people, or a lot of ships out there ready to fight. You would think they'd be more careful given how far it can be between places to repair your ship. Thankfully I got some missiles from the last encounter. Alright, we're charging, and that was a hit on my shield and then a miss. That's fine with me. Their hull is already down to 3, so I'm going to actually... Oops, I'm going to unpower my missiles and just try and use the laser to finish them off. Unless they surrender, which is fine too. Because I get 3 hits, I believe, 3? Yeah, fires 3 laser, 1 damage each. Alright, well there was a pretty big missile hit on me, but it didn't actually appear to do anything, so I'm okay with that. Ship exploding beyond substantial collection. 1 fuel, 2 drone parts, 24 scrap. I like that. Lots of scrap. We can use that. Alright, everybody's health is fairly good. All systems still on green. And we are clear to jump to the next place unless we want to allocate another bunch of points here. I don't think we care to do that, though. Let's visit this location. Ship refueling station is stationed at the beacon. We can purchase fuel here. 3 fuel for 6 scrap sounds like a pretty good deal. Is that enough? Yeah, might as well go for 6. Not like I won't use it. And that's really all I can do here. Got a distress beacon and a store. Let's check out the store. Sorry, whoever it is that's in distress. Uncertain about what you'll discover at this beacon, you scan the surroundings. You detect several warnings and wideband channels discouraging any violence in protected trade space. Perhaps you can find some wares nearby. Neat. Alright, so not instant death for once. I like that. Well, now I could have used this to sell. I don't know. I still wish I could figure out what I need to do with this. So we can do a fix all, which is honestly probably what I'm going to do here. Well, let's see what fixing once... Okay, it's just literally 1 chunk. And that actually corresponded with that, so that's fine. We're actually going to end up not getting any of this stuff, unfortunately, because I'd rather just heal. Maybe, no, I would say a missile, if anything. Yeah, I'll just keep the scrap, whatever. I'd love to get some of these weapons, but it's just not going to happen. I don't know how you end up so ahead on some of these resources that you need, that you can actually end up making some of these purchases. This is probably the best I've done so far in terms of having extra scrap and finding places to spend it, because that's the other thing, these shops don't seem to come up everywhere. But maybe that will all be unveiled as we progress. A derelict and still smoking Mantis vessel floats by. A battle must have been recent. Its surviving crew beam on board, prepare for a fight. Oh, so we've got an up-close and personal melee combat fight. I have a feeling we're going to be okay here just because we've got so many crew members, but if I'm overpowered, then this is going to really suck. Alright, so it's like we're playing XCOM. Oh, wow, that guy just got freaking beat up. Let's get everybody in this fight that can get in. Get them out now, and into the med bay. Oh, geez, this is not right. That's not what I meant to do at all. Man, those Mantis are tough. Hopefully I can keep rotating out my crew here. Oh, geez. Oh, geez. This is not how I wanted this to go down at all. I haven't lost anyone yet, somehow. I'm about to, though. Did he get one? It looks like it. Wow, these guys are freaking hard. Oh, jeez. Get him! Well, it looks like I'm gonna lose the majority of my crew in this one particular fight for whatever reason. Alright, now I can't see what's going on my ship. I think one more big hit, I should be able to take them out. Oh, well, I guess they're gonna come to me then. How did that guy get so healed? Alright, well, he's done. That was miserable. Alright, we gotta get everything we can repaired here. I've never had a fight be that intense when it comes to the melee element. I didn't realize those mantis were so hardcore, like they really are good at fighting. Get our cameras back online, then we should be able to see the ship again. And we can repower our shield. I'm not sure why that's still in yellow. Perhaps because not everything is oh, it just had to recharge, okay. Not sure what they were planning to do, take over the ship? Probably that. No, we don't need missiles. I wish there was something else I could have done to make that go a little bit more smoothly. I'm not really aware of anything, though. Unless I had a defense drone or something. Alright, so back to the cockpit for you. I wish that went better, though. I don't think I can buy, like, another person to help me out, like another crewmate. Alright, we find a number of ships fleeing from a small space station. Hail them, ask them what's wrong, help you've been overrun with some sort of giant alien spiders. That sounds horrifying. Let's go help against my better judgment. Wonderful. Okay, I just looked at the bottom of that. Your crew boards the station, cautiously moving in between corridors. Suddenly a man-sized arachnid bursts from a vent in the ceiling, followed by countless more. You fight your way back to the airlock and are forced to leave before accounting for all crew members. Not everyone made it back. So I lost another crew member, so now we're down to 2. Jeez, I feel like we're playing the game of life here and we're like running out of people. That's a really strange metaphor because I don't think that even happens in the game of life, but anyway. I'm just seeing them as these little people moving around are sort of like those little pegs you put in the car, you know? You're out at the long-range beacon. When your FTL drive is charging, jump to the next sector. I know. See a civilian space station with heavy damage. Receive a message, you've been hit hard by the war. We need more drone parts to speed up our repairs. We'll buy some from you if you have extra. I do actually have extra, and at the moment, since I don't know exactly what to do with them, I'm going to give them to you. So give me some scrap, I could use it. And I'm just sort of checking out everything, make sure we're all good. I guess next sector, because I don't really know what else to do. I don't know, it almost doesn't matter if I go to civilian or hostile. It seems like both times, because I've been to both types, it's like not any easier on one or the other. Oh great, now we're in a poison gas cloud, which is good fun. So I think we're just going to take random damage as we're waiting to charge up here. From what you've heard, they anticipated the war coming and made preparations to hold their borders. Looks that way. Okay, maybe actually we can charge and jump right away. Check out this distress beacon. See if we can maybe wrap things up now, because it's been a bit long. Hard to see why this beacon is apparently a tourist destination. One of the ships in the small station offering a deal. Trade 9 fuel, 9 missiles, -3. So I get 9 fuel for 3 missiles. I'm going to skip that, because I really need my missiles right now, unfortunately. Oh, I should have been able to tell. This is giant purple clouds all over this map. Alright, let's keep going. Drone isn't looking for you. Perhaps it's scouting ahead for the rebel expansion, or maybe they're seeking to use this nebula for cover. Regardless, it identifies you as hostile. Alright, this guy hopefully shouldn't be a huge deal to fight. We'll see. You never know. I'm gonna go after his weapons supply first and his engine. Ooh, I don't like the look of that plasma bolt or whatever he just shot at me. I'm gonna skip using the missile again. We're just gonna send a second laser shot. See if that does the trick. It's nice when they don't have any shield. You don't have to really worry about that taking away some of your hits. Alright, so we got quite a bit of scrap actually out of that. 37 scrap, 2 missiles, 1 fuel. Can you imagine this is on easy? How it's freaking hard on normal. I can't even believe that that's the way the settings work. Alright, our sensors are disabled, I guess. Oh, from the gas cloud, I guess. Let's try and head out of that, because I kind of like being able to see what's going on. I have 74 scrap. It's actually better than usual. You're surprised when a stationary Zoltan ship opens fire. It appears there are aggressive pugilists even among the enlightened. Do they really count as pugilists when we're shooting lasers in space? I thought that was like boxing. Whatever. Alright, so same old dance. I wish there wasn't so much fighting, actually. It seems, maybe it's just my luck or something, but it seems like I spend 90% of my time fighting random ships. I mean, I know that's part of the excitement, too, so that's fine. It's just I kind of prefer a little bit more of a negotiation-based gameplay, if possible. Alright, I need to take my one remaining auxiliary crew member and send him over there. I need to use all of my stuff, because this guy's actually going to be pretty tricky to fight. Alright, shields should be damaged. Crap, I'm taking a bunch of hits. Again, if you forgot, I can stop this at any point and just, you know, recap what's going on so I don't get too far behind, which sometimes is a very good idea to do. Alright, I think I got this under control. I'm gonna make it, I believe, unless he gets a really nice hit in at the last second. Yeah. Oh, we got 33 scrap, 1 drone part, 1 fuel. Alright, cool. We got over 100 scrap for possibly the first time. So we're going to repair our engine. Looks like it's actually not that damaged. I actually could have made the jump anyway, but might as well get it set while it's still safe. Because you never know what you're going to jump into as soon as you leave. And I should probably be using some of this scrap on my ship, but that's the trade-off. You don't know if you're going to want to try and buy stuff with it, or you're going to want to use it on your ship. Alright, he's good to go. Yeah, we're both pretty much healthy now. Let's head over there to another non-deadly smoke cloud area. Ship is hailed as an automated message. Resisting or takeover is pointless. Prepare to die. It appears this rebel ship is run by an AI. That's wonderful news. I guess we're going to fight again. Let's do our usual tactic. I am going to run out of missiles on this fire. I guess that's the way it is, though. I had more shields. Oh wow, engine's critical. That happened awfully fast, actually. Let's, since I don't need the engines at the moment, let's open up the airlocks and get the fires out, and hopefully that'll leave me in a position where when this fight is over, which shouldn't take too long, I hope we make it through it, I should be able to head over there, close the airlocks, or close them first, then head over there, and fix the engine. Another big hit on their shield would be nice. Okay, we got one more hit and we are going to come out victorious. It might be a better idea to be shooting the other areas that I'm not after, but whatever, I still have to learn exactly what the best strategies are. Alright, so the engine looks like it took some damage there. Ship explodes behind a substantial collection of useful scrap. 1 fuel, 1 missile, 28 scrap. I guess it's going to say that same thing every single time. Alright, that is that. Let's go do some repairs. When it's in that state where you see the cross lines like that, that's when you don't want to go in. That's when it's going to choke your guys when they try to get in there. Let's send a second guy over to see if we can speed this up a little bit. I apologize if this episode runs super long. I mean, I guess I just sort of wanted to play this through to completion, see what happens. Hopefully you don't mind, and, you know, if you do mind, that's fine too. I guess just head on to greener pastures, but, you know, for those of you that have stuck around this long, very cool, thank you for that. I imagine we're going to be wrapping things up fairly shortly, unless I have a bout of particularly great luck. I don't know what it is, but when I record these long event-driven games, for some reason I seem to do considerably better than when I'm playing by myself. An unarmed Zoltan transport vessel is slowly making its way towards the beacons here. They hail, this is Zoltan Peace Envoy. We carry no weapons or shielding and rely on the mercy of others to communicate our message. Hear them out. It would have been very easy to accidentally click the other one, by the way. They continue, we take your silence for interested contemplation. They talk at length about peace and harmony, but either it's beyond your simple mind or it's all nonsense. Okay. They finish, please spread a word of okay. So they're like televangelists in space. That's great news. Once you have Contact our brethren. So they want us to become evangelists on their behalf. I'm not likely to do that, sorry. Although I am curious what the quest is going to be, but let's go check out the store, because I have a lot of extra scrap at the moment. Since they're fascinated by other species, who set up something of an alien knick-knack shop here. Why not take a look? I agree. That looks like a glaive beam. I think I've heard that this is a very good thing to have. One of the most powerful weapons of war ever created, known to take out some ships in a single blast. Beam damage is reduced for one for every shield it passes through, which allows for partial shield piercing. I don't know why I had such trouble reading that. Required power is 4. I'm gonna actually just buy this, because I'm a crazy mofo. I just want to see what happens, honestly. And I even have enough to do some fixing as well. Oh, 1 short. Alright, well I can get pretty close to healed. I'm happy with that. Alright, so we've got apparently a very powerful weapon here, and if I want to, I should actually be able to use it even. And I can rearrange the order that things get powered. I guess I can't use that here. I'm hoping that I actually didn't just make a really stupid move. I'm certain that we'll have a chance to use it at some point, though. Maybe if I have enough firepower, I should be able to get a lot more killing done, if that's the task at hand. We're at a long-range beef station, beacon. I think I just said beef station. That's fine. Good sir, it seems like you're having some trouble with the rebels. I'd like to help you, but I can't afford the upkeep required of this hunk of junk I'm flying. Maybe we can come to an arrangement. I would actually like to hire you. I'm just totally broke right now. Sorry. Thanks for the offer, though. I appreciate it. Let's head on to another civilian-controlled sector. There's going to be a lot of sectors if we have to make it through all of that. Alright, we're now in Engi space. The Mantis have been threatening the Engi core worlds. You should be able to stock up on your journey. Okay, for your journey, I should say. Let's head to this distress beacon, because I'm sure there will probably be some fighting to do. I could really use some new crew members, though. I would like that. Stress signals coming from a small space station orbiting an uninhabited planet. Satellite has gone through haywire, and then repair crew can't approach it being fired upon. I look for help to fix or disable it. Destroy the defense system from a distance. Sure. Fire a few volleys, but aren't able to penetrate the defense system shields. The weapons have no trouble piercing yours, though, and you take some minor damage before escaping the station. Will need help. Find help elsewhere. Okay. Apparently, I can't read anymore. Engi construction yard. Most Engi maintain their bipedal appearance, out of habit here, but see a number of Engi houses working together, created massive organic machines adept at building ships. Truly a sight to behold. Absolutely. That bears no actual relevance to my cause, apparently, so that was a silly jump. On we go. I am running out of fuel. I just realized that. Oh, that's really bad. Alright, we found a rebel automated scout floating near this beacon despite its pristine condition. Appears to be deactivated. Attempt to download its data stores, or don't risk it on a ship. So I can get a bunch of scrap, or try to get the ship's data. I'm going to get the ship's data because I don't know what that actually means. Oh, great. I'm apparently really bad at that, and we've reactivated its AI. Wonderful. Well, I did want to test out this glaive beam if I can. Can I route power to a glaive beam? Apparently I cannot. Do I need to buy another... Oh, I don't have enough power even here to send it to the 4. Okay, so I'm really dumb, and I just, like, ruined my chance at having the best weapon. Okay. And now I'm in trouble. How quickly things change. I could have just taken the scrap. I need some fuel. I had a really good outlook. Things were looking great. Now things are not looking so great. Alright, let's hope we can make it through this fight. I don't know why I even wanted that data. I don't know what I'm going to get out of it. Did want it, though. And I have one more jump, so if I don't get some fuel on this potential win, then I guess I just am doomed to float in space indefinitely. I'm not sure if there's anything I can do about that. Oh, crap. Our guys are going to probably die in that fire. Get out! Oh, jeez. My... junk is now unmanned. That drone is not making me happy at all. and I can't fire because okay, I guess this is the end. That was very sad and anticlimactic. I'm not going to be able to reactivate my weapons in time. So, I guess that's going to be the end of this very long episode. Wave goodbye to my wonderful Kestrel ship. You were so close to having a really good weapon, but didn't happen. Well, it was a bit tragic. Now you can see some of my previous games and some of my statistics. I think we did fairly well here, though, for, I don't know, whatever game this is as far as how many games I've played now. I enjoy this game very much. I actually really am sad that I missed out on playing this when everybody was so hyped about it. I missed some good hours that I could have spent, but then again, you know, I needed to play other stuff too, so maybe it all works out in the end. So I guess the message here, if there is a message, is if you haven't played FTL by now, go play it. It's worth your money, it's worth your time, it's very addictive, it's well done, it has great music, it has accessible gameplay, and in general, I think it's a very good game. So, that has been another episode of Indie Impressions. I hope you stuck around for how long this crazy long episode ended up being. If you didn't, I understand, but if you did, thank you and high five. And as always, remember to head on over to the website, www.indie-impressions.com. Check out all the videos, old and new. Sort them by genre, by distribution method. Check out all the different developers, see what's going on in the forums. Maybe type a message or two, see what's going on with us, with all the other indie crew that happens to hang out there. I wish the forums were a little bit more populated than they are, but, you know, with your help, we can get things going again. And when you're done with the website, facebook.com/indieimpressions. If you want to leave a like on that, you'll get every day's new episode delivered right into your Facebook feed. Makes it nice and convenient for you, so you don't have to go looking for them. They'll come right to you. I also do the occasional contest and the occasional news update over there, too. So, you know, it doesn't hurt. It takes 5 seconds, and it helps me out if you want to leave a like. But that is your option. And lastly, if you want to contact me about possibly playing your game, if you're an indie developer on the show, if you want to get on there, quickest way to reach me is at RockLeeSmile on Twitter. I also have a contact form on the website. Hit me up, say hi. Happy to talk to anybody. I am here for all of you. This is my effort to try and help the indie world, so I'll do what I can. So thank you so much for watching, guys. I hope you have a lovely night, and I hope you enjoyed this very long look at FTL. Talk to you later.